So this here is the Honda CB750 build, and in the last video we made this really cool electrics tray which follows the lines of the bike. It's got enough room and depth in it to put a Motor Gadget Mo unit, an ignition module, starter solenoid, maybe even a regulator rectifier, but I'd probably put that on the outside so it gets enough airflow. But I'm not even going to be using this electric tray on this bike. I just wanted to show you the process and how to do it. I'm actually going to be chopping the entire subframe off this bike and making a complete new one from scratch, completely custom, as well as doing a custom mono shock conversion which will be sitting on the inside here. Before I do that, I just wanted to show you how to make some cool side panels using the existing frame as it is right now. So the first step is making a template out of cardboard, so we have the exact dimensions of this triangle here. But it's not just a flat panel, because if you can see there's a bend here and there's a bend here, so therefore it's kinked back, but it's also twisted ever so slightly as well. And for making your template, you could use anything from cardboard to core flute to plastic, whatever you have available. I like to use this stuff here. It's actually called straw board, or also known as box board, and you can get it from the craft store from different thicknesses depending on what you're doing. A handful of really good quality magnets can be your best friend when you're doing stuff like this. After figuring out the exact size of this, I ran some tape around the outside, which is 23mm, giving me the perfect border size that I wanted. And to get the hole started, you could use a small drill bit like this or smaller and drill about 3 or 4 holes, just enough so you can get a jigsaw blade in there and then continue that cut. And if you wanted to make life a little bit easier for yourself, you could use one of these spade bits, drill the 4 corners, and that way you'll be discarding the center section, and then you can easily just cut a new one later by using the part you've cut out as your template. You could potentially get a blade like this for your angle grinder, and that can do some of your straight lines as well. And you can also do a plunge cut with a jigsaw. It just takes a little bit of skill. So these screws here are more like a location pin to sort of get the 2 pieces exactly where you need them, and then clamping it down to the bench is probably going to be a lot better. And then you place your internal piece in, and you can either hit it with a hammer, and another way to do it is if you have a shop press, you can just press it down slightly with a shop press until you get pretty happy with it. But if you do get a little bit too greedy with it, this stuff will tear, as you can see here. So you can get a fair stretch out of it, just not a ton. I have a couple of different styles of stainless steel woven mesh, as you can see here, but I'm going to wait to the end because I'm pretty sure this stuff is really heavy duty and it's going to destroy the timber. Sizing it up with the cardboard template here, you can see the perforated aluminium works really well, presses nicely. However, with the stainless steel woven mesh, it doesn't quite go as nice. It didn't quite fit inside that cardboard template as well as I'd wanted. And I guess you could make this a little bit smaller than what you needed, and so therefore you could get that to fit nicely. But I feel like moving to the heavier gauge stainless steel will probably be even worse. So I might leave that for now. You could also make a steel version of this, which would probably press even better. I have another idea. I don't like my chances of this working, but I've annealed some 1.6 aluminium to give it a bit more flexibility. I'm going to try that as well. And I've also shaved the corners down to give a bit more of a nice radius, which has probably weakened this, but we'll give it a go and see what happens. I must say, I'm pretty damn impressed with how that turned out. I didn't expect it to perform as well as it has, and it actually fits the frame perfectly. That is awesome. We'll have to flatten out a few of these little wrinkled sections here, but I don't think that's too bad considering it's a bit of 1.6 aluminium. And just to add a little bit more depth to this, I thought I'd do a little bit of a feature on it as well. And another really cool feature you could do is a series of holes in whatever pattern you wanted. You'll just need to get yourself some sort of domed nut or make your own. This is an automotive wheel nut, and that one's just a standard stainless steel dome nut. I've gone ahead and made my own just to show you what I'm talking about. And you will just need a backing plate with a hole in it around about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller than the dome head that you're going to be using for this. Go ahead and drill all the holes in the spacings and sequence that you want. Place it directly over the top of the hole, make sure it's right in the center. Clamp it down, place your dome head over the top, and give it a hard wallop. And voila. And that's what it should look like. So just keep in mind when you do your spacing, you're going to have a bit of a curve in, so leave a little bit bigger than you think. I'll show you what it looks like on steel. And that's pretty damn cool. And if you wanted to change the look of this dimple, all you'd have to do is change the shape of the bottom hole by putting a radius or a chamfer on it by using a countersink. You could even change this as well, which might make a difference. Just a few options to play with. And I'm 90% sure I've figured out how to fit this way wider rim on the rear of that CB750, and I'm just waiting for some parts to arrive to make sure this is going to work, but that'll be in an upcoming video, so look out for that one. And in regards to fitting this into the frame, what I would probably do is weld a piece of flat plate everywhere where there's a bolt, and so therefore you drill a hole, tap it, and then your bolt can go in and it can sandwich and hold that piece of aluminium in the back. And if I was keeping this on the bike, I think in that little bottom section I'd have 750 or even Honda written there. So there's a couple of really cool ideas for you to mess around with at home, and I've got a ton of videos just like this one, so go and check them out. And I'd love to know in the comments which one you prefer best. Number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4. And now it's time for me to cut this subframe off, create my own custom version, as well as convert this bike to a monoshock.